Lesson 28, and we're still trying to figure out how can siblings be so alike or so different? We've already figured out that parents pass on genes to their children, and depending on which genes the child inherits, dominant or recessive, this has an effect on the child's phenotype. But lots of traits can be inherited from parents. Therefore, we need to gather more evidence to completely answer our question. So we're about to embark on a really big but fun investigation where we'll simulate how a human mother and father pass on traits to their children. We're going to use paper chromosomes for the mother and father and simulate this couple making multiple offspring, just like we did for Mendel's pea plants. We'll then inspect the offspring to see how alike or different they are. The simulation will let us figure out the mechanism for how children come out so similar or different from each other. So today, you're going to analyze the 46 chromosomes of a mother and 46 chromosomes of a father to see what traits these parents possess. So get ready, grab a pencil, your journal slip, your science journal, and you're going to need to download or print a genetic profiles reference sheet. It looks just like this, right here on the screen. All right, here's a picture of mom's 46 chromosomes. We call this picture a karyotype. You can see that she has 23 pairs of chromosomes for a total of 46. That's because 23 are inherited from one of her parents and the other 23 from the other parent. Now, chromosomes, like this, are nothing more than coiled up DNA. And if we zoom in on a little piece, then we can see an important string of nitrogen bases, the adenine, thymine, guanines, and cytosines. And the order of these bases represents a gene. And the gene sequence lets the body know what kind of protein to make, and that protein contributes to a person's trait. Here, let's look at mom's chromosome pair number 1. On the first chromosome, she has the code CGATCCA. What does this gene sequence code for? To figure this out, look at your genetic profile reference sheet. The reference sheet shows you chromosome 1, and I see that this gene on chromosome 1 controls the shape of a person's face. And the sequence on that first chromosome matches this dominant gene. So mom has a dominant gene for round face indicated by this uppercase letter R. Now look at the second chromosome in this pair. Read the gene sequence. Yes, the sequence matches the recessive allele. And so we can represent this recessive allele with a lowercase r. It's actually the allele for a square face. So it appears that mom is a hybrid or heterozygous for this trait. 2 different genes for face shape. So what will she look like? Go ahead, take a moment to think. Yep, she'll have a round face because this dominant allele will hide the recessive one. Now, I've already put this in on your journal slip, as you can see. Take a moment to complete the other Mendelian traits located on chromosomes 2 through 10. I've grayed out the other chromosome pairs so that you know exactly which gene combinations to read. Also, uppercase or capital letters are underlined so that you can easily tell the dominant allele from the recessive allele. Go ahead, pause this screencast and read the gene combinations using your genetic profiles reference sheet. And make sure to put all your data on your journal slip. Now, I want you to work on reading mom's chromosomes for the incompletely dominant traits located on chromosomes 11 through 18. This means that when a person has one dominant allele and one recessive allele, that the appearance or the phenotype is in between the dominant and recessive form. This is just like when we examine carriers of the sickle cell gene. Let's do one together. On chromosome 11, right here, mom has one dominant and one recessive allele. So she has one dominant gene for curly hair and one recessive gene for straight hair. But since she's heterozygous, her phenotype, or what she looks like, she's going to have wavy hair. You can see that I've also put this example in on your journal slip. Now, I want you to use the genetic profile reference sheet and read the gene combinations for chromosomes 11 through 18. Again, I've grayed out the other chromosome pairs to help you keep track of your progress. Now we're going to read mom's chromosomes for traits that are considered polygenic. That just means that some traits like eye color, hair color, and skin color are the result of many genes influencing the outcome. As a matter of fact, many human traits follow this type of inheritance pattern. Let's figure out mom's trait of eye color together. It says on the genetic profile sheet that the genes that control eye color are on chromosomes 9 and 20. On chromosome 9, mom has 2 recessive alleles, and on chromosome 20, mom also has 2 recessive alleles. So her gene combination, like you see on your journal slip, is written out little a1, little a1, little b1, and little b1. If we look back at our profile sheet, we need to look for that combination. It's right here. And you can see that mom has light blue eyes. Now, I want you to figure out mom's hair color and her skin color using the same process I just showed you and the charts on your genetic profile sheet. Make sure you read carefully for skin color. The number of dominant alleles determines how dark or light someone's skin is. Do this now. Okay, it's time to read the last pair of chromosomes, pair 23. This is a special pair because you can tell a person's gender based on these 2 chromosomes. It's right here. Females have 2 long X chromosomes, so the genotype is XX, making the person female. You should have a pretty good idea of what mom looks like after reading the genes on her chromosomes. Think about this. How does mom's genetics influence her appearance? You'll need to keep that in mind for the next lesson. Now look at dad's karyotype. This part of the activity should move a bit quicker as reading dad's genetics is the same as reading mom's. It's just that dad's going to have different gene combinations. Start by reading the gene combinations on chromosomes 1 through 10, the Mendelian traits. Use your genetic profile reference sheet as you do so. Remember, for Mendelian traits, dominant alleles lead to dominant traits. Only when there are 2 recessive alleles will dad show the recessive trait. Make sure to record all the data on your journal slip. Pause the screencast and do this now. All right, let's move on to the gene combinations for chromosomes 11 through 18, the incompletely dominant traits. Use your genetic profile sheet. And remember, anytime you see a hybrid or heterozygous gene combination, meaning 1 dominant and 1 recessive allele, the appearance is the in-between trait. Pause the screencast and do this now. You're doing great. You just need to figure out dad's eye color, hair color, and skin color. You need to read more than 1 set of genes for each of these polygenic traits. Pause this screencast and do this now. And finally, read chromosome pair number 23. That's over here, the sex chromosomes. Record the data on your journal slip. You probably see that dad has XY. Just a little hint, anytime you see XY, just think it must be a guy. You should have a pretty good idea of dad's appearance. How did his genetics, his DNA, influence what he looks like? Think about that for the next lesson. For today, I need you to submit your journal slip. Until tomorrow, keep thinking, keep learning, and get ready because we're going to be bringing mom and dad to life in the next lesson.